What's up guys, my name's Andre and welcome to a new video. Today I've got yet another camera. This is the Sony DSC-WX60 and it says here that it's NTSC or PAL. I have to yet find the setting to change that. But the reason why I got this camera is, first, the guy was basically giving it away for the price that he was asking, 90 bucks for this. It usually goes for 400, at least here. It still uses the Exmor sensor, which is the same sensor that the camera that I'm using uses. And it's much more compact. It still shoots using AVC HD. I'm not sure how well the camera is pulling the focus there. But yeah, this is basically a stills camera that for some odd bizarre reason can do 60i. 1080p 1080 60i. So here, congratulations, you have just acquired yourself a Sony product. Yada yada, some ads for whatever, because this was released during the Olympics that were being hosted in Brazil. So it actually comes with the user's manual, which is quite rare. Now, if we open it up, it actually comes with the Type N charger. No, this is actually something else. This is just an adapter then. And then here we have the figure 8 plug. And here we have the micro USB cable. Thankfully, it uses a micro USB cable to do things. And here is the start of the show. This is a white model, of course. And I think that the weak point of this camera is the fact that it uses the Type N battery, which is not the best for durability, but it's a battery. Plus, I think I have another camera. Yes, I do. Hang on. I have this other Sony. This is a DSC-WX600, W800. Also steady shot, but this one will only do 720p. It's MJPEG, it's horrible. But it actually uses the same Type N battery, which is a highlight, kind of, because then I have two batteries that are compatible with this camera. They're both the same capacity too. So, turning it on. This is in video mode. There's a slide switch here that switches between picture and video mode. It's an intelligent auto mode, and if we go into the settings, we have steady shot mode. It's actually in Portuguese. Let me change that. Maybe while I'm at it, I can actually change the region from NTSC to PAL. That would be swell. Here I can format the card or copy things, whatever, change the area. But so yeah, that's basically what we have in terms of modes. So here it's set to shoot in 60i at 24 megabits a second, which is exactly the same mode that I'm using to shoot right now on this camera. We can also do 1920 by 1080 60i at 17 megabit, and we can do 1440 by 1080 anamorphic at 60i and 9 megabits a second, which is the lowest quality that it will shoot in interlaced video. Now here, if I go into the settings, I can change the format to MP4, which is 30p, and in this mode it's only going to shoot 1440 by 1080 at 30 frames progressive, 720p at 6 megabits a second, or VGA at 640 by 480 progressive at 3 megabits a second. Now, the downside of this camera, I think, is the battery runtime. Because this is a Type N, I can't install a bigger battery on this camera as I have done with my CX220, which I'm using to record right now. But the highlight is, it uses exactly the same sensor as my main camera. So if I use this as a secondary camera, the picture quality is going to be precisely the same. I have done some back-to-back tests using my special double rig, and I can tell you that the picture quality is identical between both. The colors, rendering, sharpness, compression quality, everything else, it's precisely the same. And now I'm going to give you a sample of what it looks like outdoors. So this is an outdoor shot using the WX60. This is being recorded at the highest quality setting, 1080i FX at 24 megabits a second. So here we're going to give it a little bit of a zoom. This is maximum zoom with steady shot set to action, which is the most aggressive form of steady shot. The audio is surprisingly good for a camera of this caliber, because if I remember well, these cameras usually do not have terribly good sound quality. Now even as I'm here standing recording this video, I can hear the zoom motor acting up. So I'm not sure how this is going to come across in the video, how loud it's going to be. And this is what the video looks like an arm's length away, recording with daylight hitting on me. And I think that the only bummer is that the highest quality you can get is by shooting 60i. There is a mode that shoots 30p at 1080, but it's not 1920 by 1080, it's 1440 by 1080, and I'm going to show you what it looks like now. And this is what the video looks like recording at 1440 by 1080 at 30 frames per second. This mode shoots 12 megabits a second, which is about half the quality, but you get half the movement. Again, I can zoom in. The thing that's a bit limiting about this camera is the autofocus. It's a bit limited when you're indoors. The quality is fine. It's not bad. I think that the lowest key point of this camera is the battery. This is a Type N lithium battery, and it's okay. It's fine. It's going to last, I don't know, maybe an hour, but it's not going to last more than that. And again, this is an arm's length away with steady shot on its highest setting, which is action, with daylight approximate. It's not direct daylight on my face, but it's pretty close. So the thing about this camera also is the optical zoom is much less than my main camera, of course. This is I think it's a 24 times zoom, optical zoom. This one is only 8 times optical zoom. Plus, the thing is that's actually better than my main camera is optical steady shot. My camera only has digital steady shot, while this one will actually move the sensor and lens around to stabilize the picture. So when shooting handheld, this camera actually blows my main camera out of the water in terms of picture stability. But if I'm using a tripod, there's no advantage on shooting with this camera from shooting with my main camera, apart from the fact that I lose quite a bunch of zoom. Also, when shooting indoors, the autofocus is a lot more limited. For example, I can turn on the camera here. If I zoom into that battery right there, at this distance already it cannot pull focus. I think I'm like 30 centimeters away from the battery, and with the object filling just that small space of the screen, it's not able to pull focus. And it gets even worse, of course, if I zoom in. It's not going to pull a focus. This is something that doesn't happen with my main camera, because both of these lenses are parafocal in a sense, but this camera is a lot more limited in terms of its autofocus capability. It's not slow. It's as slow or as fast as the CX220. But I actually really like this camera. It's compact, it's practical, It's actually got the original Sony branded SD card on it, which is, well, it's interesting. I had never seen a Sony branded SD card before, but I've got plenty of other cards. I've got, let's see, one 16 gig, two 16 gig, a third 32 gig. Here, I've got another 8 gig card inside my Zoom H1, and I've got also a 64 gigabyte card inside my CX220 right now. So I have plenty of cards. And adding to the insult, I have yet another 8 gigabyte card that was just inside of the WX60. So you can kind of tell that I'm loaded with cards right now. I also got a spare battery for it, which is also good. Jesus, that's some terrible framing. Also, something that I have, which is not in view right now because I've got it stocked somewhere, is I've got the actual charger for this. So I can charge the battery while it's inside the camera, but I can also charge the battery or batteries with a dedicated charger, which I have, which came with the W800. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is probably going to be my truly point-and-shoot camera from now on, because of its optical steady shot, because it's smaller, because I don't have to actually physically open a screen to record, which I can end up ruining the flat cable by doing that too many times. And if I'm using this, I'm not going to use it for too long, so the battery autonomy is not going to hurt me too much, because even if I'm using this in the middle of a video, it's going to be as a secondary camera for like 2 minutes or 30 seconds. So it's quite nice. The audio is actually quite good on this one. The difference is this one actually shoots AAC audio, while my camera shoots AC3. So back to back, they're going to sound the same in terms of compression quality. But I actually do prefer the sound that comes out of this little camera. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm going to see you guys next time. Take care.